Hey, what is up, you guys? It is Tyler. Welcome to a Walking Dead review. This is kind of late at night. I just got off a review for WWE Hell in a Cell. If you have not checked that out, go to my channel. I'll probably put a link in the description so that way you guys can go see it. If you are a fan of wrestling, I just reviewed Hell in a Cell. I got 107 viewers off of, I believe, that one show. So I got to 100. Thank you all so much. It means a lot. I know it's not a lot to many of you, but it's a lot to me to know that not many people are watching my videos. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for the subscribing and leaving likes and viewing and favoriting and sharing. I'm not gonna cry though. But there was a part in the show that did almost make me cry. I almost shed a tear, but we're gonna get to that a little bit later on. And now let's talk about The Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 3. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Okay, so first we start off this episode with the group. They're running from walkers. It was all of them. We were back at the Rick's group. It was like Rick and Michonne and Heath and a few other people. So they're running from walkers because remember there was gunshots coming from home. We found out why there were gunshots coming from home. It was because, well, no, there was a horn coming from home. And everyone was wondering where the horn was coming from. We found out that the horn, I believe, was Morgan trying to alert the group to get back home when the truck came into the when the truck the truck from the second episode smacked into the walls of Alexandria, and the guy died, and it just hit, and his head hit the horn, and it just started going off. So that's what that sound was. So they're like, they still don't know what the sound is. So they're like, okay, we got to find out what that sound is. So they're trying to go, first they're trying to lead the walkers away from Alexandria because that's where walkers are going. Their walkers are going where the sound is going. So they're trying to get the walkers away from Alexandria. One of the guys, they're in the woods. One of the guys, I don't know any of these guys' names, are just Alexandrians. One of the Alexandrians says that Rick brought them out there to die, and it's all Rick's fault that we're all going to die. And Michonne's like, yo, chill out. We're going to make it out here. And he's like, no, Rick brought us out here. We're all going to die. I don't know why he brought us out here. We don't have any training for this. Few minutes later, the guy was on the ground with his neck all bit up. So, I mean, you got to do what you got to do, man. Rick says that, so Rick kind of splits the group up into groups. He didn't split the group up. He left the group saying that he's going to go to where the blockade is at Alexandria. He's going to go get the RV and bring it back so that way everyone can get us the RV and go back to Alexandria. So he says he's going to get the RV and he's leaving everyone else like Glenn and Michonne in charge. He says to watch over the guys and to make sure that they don't die or whatnot. That's when he found out that the guy gets bit by a walker and Michonne has to, put him down with the sword. Glenn says he needs to bring everyone home. Michonne agrees. Glenn was telling Michonne while they were walking that he's going to need to go back to Rick. Glenn and the Rick lookalike need to go back and get something. I don't know exactly what it is. I don't remember exactly what, but they need to do something. So he's telling them that if they take too long, just leave them. And Michonne's like, no, I'm not leaving you. He's like, trust me, if we take too long, just leave them. So Glenn makes a call to Rick on his walkie-talkie. He's like, da-da-da-da-da. And then he says, good luck, dumbass. And it's kind of very ironic because in the first episode, we were introduced to Glenn when he called Rick a dumbass. And in this episode, he called Rick a dumbass. So I'm like, oh, that's cool, but I wonder why he did that. A little part of me felt like I knew why he was saying it, but I didn't want to believe it. So let me get to another scene. I'm going through this kind of fast, guys. Sorry. So then we get to another scene because they get into like this shop. It was because Glenn and the other guy, the Rick lookalike, already left. So we get into the shop with Michonne, Heath, and the other Alexandrians. And one of the girls, I think, who got hurt, she says that they're also on her bound to leave her. Michonne's, of course, like, we're not going to leave you. And then the black guy, the black guys from Alexandria is like, we're not leaving you. He's like, you guys gonna probably have to leave me too, because I'm just gonna slow you down, and I'm all hurt and banged up and whatnot. And he says, and then they said, no, we're not leaving you. I believe Heath says something kind of smart, and Michonne and Heath, they kind of get into it. Well, they don't really get into it that much. I'm about to like how I do in every episode. I usually play back one part of the episode. I'm gonna have to play that part back for you guys. They didn't get into it like that much. They did have like a slight altercation where it was like, yo, dude, do you really think don't remember what Heath said, so just give me 1 second, guys, while I go back and retrieve that part of the episode. This episode's really, really good. Really, well, it was great. Well, no, I'm gonna say it was great, but it was really good. Hold on, fast forward. I covered all those parts. Oh yeah, there was a part where Daryl was trying to lead Abraham and Sasha. You know, they're all in the car and Daryl's on a bike, and they're all trying to lead the walkers away. And Daryl's like, I'm gonna go one way, try to lead them that way. And Sasha's like, no, let's stick with the plan. Let's go this way. And Daryl's like, nah, I'm gonna go this way. That part didn't really play too much of a role, really. Oh, and when they get in the shop, that's when Glenn and the guys split up. They go after they all split up. So while they're in the shop, Glenn's like, okay, if I don't make it, make sure you just leave without me. And Glenn takes out the watch that Herschel gave him, and he's like looking down. I think he gives it to Michonne or something. Not entirely sure what he does with it. Rick's running away. Rick's running towards the RV, trying to run towards the walkers and everything. You know, trying to get to the RV as fast as possible. Trying to get to this part. Here we go.
Hey, you have a problem with me?
This is Rick and Heath talking.
Looking out for my people.
Heath is the guy that looks like a black version of the male version of Michonne. With glasses.
Look, I heard what Rick said. Which part? How they wouldn't all make it. They meaning us, and not you. How you should leave us behind if we can't keep up. Glenn is out there risking his life for you and for everyone else, and I'm still here, so I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Things are gonna get worse, and then we'll see. Yeah, we will. Rick said what he said, because sometimes you don't have a choice. That is not how we do it. Because you've never had to do it any other way. You haven't been through it. Not like Rick. Rick was out there. I was out there. We know you don't. But if you don't learn, you will die. We will. I've been doing runs from the start, okay? I know. Have you ever had to kill people because they'd already killed your friends and were coming for you next? Have you ever done things that made you feel afraid of yourself afterward? Have you ever been covered in so much blood that you didn't know if it was yours, or Walker's, or your friends? Huh? Then you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't know. So yeah, that's the altercation that happened between Heath and Michonne. So there's banging on the doors, I believe, from Rick and the guy are still running. They're running. They come across one of the walkers, and one of the walkers appears to be one of the Rick lookalikes partners. So he kills them, and they start running. So then Michonne she hears banging on one of the doors. So she opens the doors and kills one of the walkers. Before we do that, Rick manages to get to the RV and pulls off. We go back to the shop. Michonne writes, you're getting home to some guy. She opens the door, walkers are there, chops them up. But the walkers from the outside, they must have some super good hearing because they hear Michonne chopping them up. And soon enough, a big, humongous swarm of walkers start coming towards the doors. And Michonne, that's where Michonne in the trailer, she's just saying like, they're coming. Because it's like this. There must be, I don't know how, there are so many walkers this season, like a big amount of walkers this season. Humongous amount of walkers this season. Just a lot. That must be a lot. They must be paying a lot of these guys. So they get the idea to get out of the shop. So the girl who says to leave them, she's falling behind. She's like limping. She trips and falls, and she's trying to shoot her way out. She tells them, leave me, leave me. And they're about to go save her, but at this point, she's screwed because the walkers are coming. She shoots some of them, but then they get to her, and she gets bit, and they eat her alive. That's 2 deaths. So now we get back to Glenn and the Rick lookalike. They're running towards the this place, but the walkers are coming. There's a big swarm of walkers following them. Get back to Michonne and the group, and a big swarm of walkers is following them too. I'm like, oh my god, there's so many walkers. So he climbs the gate. The other guys climb the gate. So it's Michonne and this other guy. They're about to climb the gate, but the walkers catch up with them, and he grabs the one guy's foot. He grabs his foot and Michonne's foot, and I'm like, oh my god, Michonne's gonna get it. No. Then we cut back to Glenn and the Rick lookalike. I still don't know his name, so it's the Rick lookalike. They get trapped in because there's a gate on one side, and that gate has the walkers on the other side. And then where they are, there's walkers coming towards them. So it's like they're screwed. I'm like, oh man, there's so many walkers. They're trying to shoot their way out, but there's literally, if you see it from my feet, there's literally no way they're getting out of it. So my thinking is, all right, there's no way they're gonna get out of it. The one thing they only really can do is to shoot themselves so they don't get bit. That's the one thing we really can do. We get back to Michonne. The one guy is pulled down by the walkers and gets eaten alive, while Michonne manages to make her way out by he's shooting the walkers and trying to getting them off of Michonne. So Michonne makes it out. That's 3 deaths now. Oh man, this episode is just getting so intense. Now we're back to probably the saddest scene, saddest scene this season so far. So then we get back to Glenn and Rick lookalike. They get on top of the dumpster and they're just surrounded by walkers. One side's walkers, the other side's walkers. There's nothing they can do. Now the Rick lookalike, he's looking down, he's trying because it's like, I'm gonna die. There's no way I'm getting out of here. And I'm like, in some situations, like, all right, dude, you're gonna get out of here some way. But it's like, there's no way you're getting out of here. I'm gonna die. So he's looking around, he's like, I'm gonna die. I have no idea what he said. He says something. I gotta see what he says. He says something, but I don't know what he says. Because he's like, and I think his name's Dylan. So let's call his name Dylan. He's like, we're gonna make it out of this. So Glenn tells him to look at him, and he just has this. What's he say? Oh, that's what he says. He says, thank you. He says, thank you, and then he takes the gun and shoots himself. And he shoots himself, and the blood just squirts right in Glenn's face. I think Glenn gets all dazed confused. And I don't know if Glenn grabs him or he falls on Glenn, but Glenn, oh man, Glenn just ends up falling off the dumpsters right onto the ground where the walkers are, and you already know what happens from here. Glenn dies in the worst way. I didn't want Glenn to die, but he didn't even get a chance to kill himself or anything. The guy at least got a chance to kill himself. Glenn gets eaten alive because he falls and all the walkers are there. They're just going to eat him. Sucks. It just sucks the way Glenn dies. And Glenn was like one of my favorite characters from the first season. I actually liked Glenn. I had a Glenn button and everything. I was like, yeah, he's my favorite character before Michonne came in and stole the show. But Glenn was my favorite character, and oh man, it's just so sad the way he died. Rest in peace, Glenn. The guy killed himself. Glenn didn't even get a chance to kill himself because he fell down. That just sucks. Rest in peace, Glenn. I'm probably going to do something for him. Or, yeah. So then we get back to Rick, I believe. Let me fast forward a little bit more. That's 5 deaths now. 5 people have died. So now, Michonne, Heath, and the black guy they were carrying, the Alexandria they were carrying, I believe they go across this street. They have to go across this lake in order to get to Alexandria. Yeah, they go across the lake. This is the last thing we see of them. So Rick, he's in his RV. He stops and he's calling for Glenn. He's like, Glenn, are you there? Glenn, are you there? And he calls for the other guy. He's like, are you there? And no one's answering. He picks up Daryl. Daryl answers. And Daryl's like, he says something. I don't remember what he says, but it doesn't really matter too much. Daryl's on his way somewhere. Sasha and Abraham are on their way somewhere. And Rick's talking to him, and then the wolf comes in, and the wolf just straight up tries to mug Rick. Comes at him with a knife and everything. They straight up tries to mug him. Then the second wolf comes in, they try to mug Rick. I'm like, at this point, I'm like, we're gonna see like 6 steps now. I mean, I already knew Rick was gonna die, but I was just like, oh my god, there is so much happening in this whole season. I felt like the first episode is just nothing compared to these 2 episodes right here. So they come in and they bug Rick. Rick fights them off, shoots them both, and then like a bunch of other wolves come in. They're coming in from the side. So Rick gets his AK and he just shoots the side door where they're coming in, and basically he kills all of them from the inside of the car before they're able to get to him, because if they would have gotten in that car, Rick would have been dead. So Rick thought smart. He shot like the RV spot where they were. So basically the bullets went through the RV and just shot them. And they were dead. Well, one was alive, but I'm pretty sure Rick didn't waste any time killing them. Rick goes to start the RV back, and RV's not working. RV's not working. It's not starting. I'm like, oh no. He tries to turn it some more. To get to the scene with them coming back to Alexandria, and they see all this stuff is burned. Michonne, Heath, and the other guy, they get back and they see all this stuff is burned. Now they see what Daryl meeting up with Abraham and Sasha again, trying to swarm off the walkers. There was just millions and millions of walkers this season, I swear. Then we cut to the last scene with Rick still trying to start the car, and then he looks so sad because it's like he's stuck there. It's like there's no way he's getting out. He's all watered up, and then the walkers start coming. And then you just see this like bird eye view of all of these walkers just swarming towards the RV. And I'm like, oh Lord, Rick gonna be gone there already. Rick's a goner already, guys. And the episode ends. This episode was intense. We had one big death this whole season so far, and then the 3rd episode already. Glenn dies in the worst way. Rest in peace, Glenn. Glenn was like one of the 3 characters who's been there since the 1st episode. Those three being Rick, Morgan, and Glenn. And now he's dead. So the only two people left from the first episode is now Rick and Morgan. And which the other people left from the first season is Carol and Daryl. They're the only people left from the Carol, Daryl, and Rick and Morgan are the only people left from the first season. They're the only people left. So I really hope Carol lives. If Carol dies, I don't know what I'm going to do. I might even stop watching if Carol dies. If Daryl dies, the show is just going to go. If freaking Morgan dies, there's going to be a riot. If Rick dies, the show's probably going to go as well. I mean, I don't know about Rick. If Rick dies, it's going to be terrible. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure the show's going to go if Daryl dies. And if Carol dies, there's going to be a whole riot online. I'm telling you right now. And I might even stop watching if Carol dies. But I'm not even worried about that because I don't think Carol's going to die at all. If she does, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just saying to myself, I'm glad it was Glenn and not Carol. Because Carol's awesome. But once again, rest in peace, Glenn. He was one of my favorite characters. I'm going to miss you, man. I'm going to miss you. But this was a great episode. Very intense. Thank you guys for watching this review. I'm probably going to post a video of Glenn dying. And if it doesn't get taken down by The Walking Dead, I will probably post the Daily Motion and then post the video again. I will talk to you guys later. Peace out.